Oh boy, we got a tow truck calling a tow truck. Alright, so this is a Matchbox. This is an early model. Yeah, I've never done one of these early model Matchbox before with the large iron axles. Gonna be a first for me. It's like a pretty easy one to do, but I think we're gonna be able to use some techniques that I haven't done before. Here it is in my book. I can tell because it's got the red there of the hook. It's the Dodge Rec Truck 13D-4 in this book. I don't think that means that mine actually came from 1965. I'm feeling mine's a later model, but I really haven't been able to confirm that. But anyway, this means I'm going to have to cast a new hook out of nothing, so I don't have anything to go with, so that'll be interesting. The windshield looks like you got hit by a rock here. Needs to be more careful. So we may or may not replace the glass, and I'm going to try and reuse these axles. I've heard that you can. I've never done this before, so this could be a complete disaster. But first, let's get it open, and we'll get to see what's inside. So those rivets were way different than any of the ones I've seen before on Hot Wheels. So we got a base, and these wheels don't just come out. I'm gonna have to clip the little nibs there, or nubs, I'm not sure what they're called. No interior. And we got the glass. Yeah. That's not gonna be parallel. There's a bulge on the inside. But we know that I know how to make these. And then we got the light, which is going to need to be cleaned up. It's not in perfect condition by far. We'll see if I can clean that up. If not, I'll have to make one. Don't know. That might be hard. I don't know. We'll see. The other thing is I need to get this off and see how it's made, because I'm going to have to 3D model a hook from scratch using pictures on the internet. So let's see if we can get this off. So yeah, I had to put on my reading glasses for that, but it just popped out once I was pushing it in the right direction. You can see there's kind of a gap that it can go through. So we're going to have to go into Tinkercad and see what I can do there. This part should be pretty easy. Here, let's go ahead and get these wheels off. This iron is super soft, much softer than I was expecting. Alright, so the wheels and axles are in great shape. These just need to be repainted. We'll see how bad they are if there's any problems once we get the paint off. This is going to have to be remade. This may need to be remade, and this hook's going to have to be made from scratch. So some easy things and some hard things. The green came off really well, no problems. The yellow is a little stubborn. So I'm going to hit it with a little bit of a wire wheel here. So I was experimenting with the vacuum former. I've only gotten it for a few days, so I really don't know much about it. So I was experimenting to see what is possible and what isn't. I found some things that's not possible. I will not be doing it like I did that time. Next time got another technique I'm going to try, but that looks really good. Of course, I'm going to have to tint it because the original was greenish, but I've already got a plan for that. All right, so I do have the windshield that I made, and it worked really well, the mold. However, coloring it, because this is a greenish blue color, this proved to be a little bit challenging. I've tried all sorts of stuff. You can see it's stained by a few things that I've tried, and I don't think it's going to matter for the end result. But what I end up finding seems to be work the best is alcohol ink. When I brush it on, it leaves streaks. So what I'm going to try to do is put some in this little cup and dip it. Now, this is not the most efficient way of doing it, but this ink is actually really inexpensive. All right, so that did not work. I do not recommend using this. I mean, this is cool for other stuff, but just not this application. What ended up working is I got a alcohol ink marker, and I went over it. This is pretty dark, so it was way too dark. And then I took a Q-tip that was lightly dipped in rubbing alcohol and went around it to smooth it out, and that ended up giving me the best results. It's not quite as intense as this one, but I think it's going to be good enough. So we're pretty close to being done here. The paint turned out really nice. I went with, let me see if I can find it here. There it is. I went with just the testers. If you'll zoom in, probably not. There we go. Just regular old green. For the base, it seemed to be a really accurate match. Like, I couldn't tell the difference. Maybe on camera you can. And then for the yellow, I went with a sunflower. And it seemed to be just perfect for what the original... You know, this original paint was probably faded, so it's hard to match it up exactly. What's crazy, look at that. $2.69 for a little thing of tester's paint. I remember when you could get those for less than $1. Ugh, what's happening to our world? So, yeah, we have some decisions to make here. A couple things. One is the hook. So I tried all sorts of stuff. And first I tried to cast it in plastic. So what I did is I 3D printed a hook from a file I found online. Looks really good, doesn't it? And I made a mold, and I tried to cast it in plastic. And obviously, that's a fail. The color's right. I like the color, but it looks hideous. So then I painted the 3D printed part, and the color's not right. So, but I think I have to go with this, even though the color's not quite right. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to do. I think it'll still look okay. Just be a little bit darker. So that'll be our hook. I need to put wheels on this guy, and so I'm going to reuse the axles. And I'm going to take a hammer and just very gently tap this to mushroom that. And the original, this side was all beautiful, looked like a, you know, beautiful mushroom on the end. This side was just flattened down. And it really took nothing at all to grind that down. So I'm going to do that for both of these. The tires were fine. I really didn't do basically anything with the tires. They were in great condition. This was a weird project. Some of the things were almost perfect. Other things were trashed. And then, let's see. Then we got to put the sticker on. So that'll be a whole nother thing. But let me work on these wheels first. So as you can see, I did not use the original axles. I ruined them. This was a lot harder than I expected. So I watched lots of videos. I watched Marty's. I watched Bare Metal's. And yeah, they're a lot better than I am. I ended up using Bare Metal's idea of using the brass rod. It worked really good. I think it looks beautiful. And Marty's method ended up working best for me. I'll show you how I did it because it's a little bit different than either of those guys. But that'll be a different video. Anyway, I like the look of the brass, to be honest. And one benefit of this, I think, is that now anyone that sees this will know that it's been restored. One of my fears is that people will start learning these techniques and making fakes and trying to pass them off. And that's not what we're trying to do here. Well, I think we can try and put this guy together now. Let's start. So I sanded up this. It was cracked a little bit, but I think it's going to look fine. Sanded it and polished it a little bit. Ah, jeez. What's going on? There we go. Looks good. Looks good. Wow, that hook was hard to get on. I actually broke 2 of them before I got this one on. I ended up having to sand down parts with that and cut out parts here. Oh, jeez, what a mess. And this one's still wet because I ended up getting tired of painting them, so I ended up painting this one while it was on. Oh, what a mess. Okay, one more thing to do with this. So the original one of these had stickers, BP stickers. So I went to my computer and I made this just by using pictures that I found online. It was not too difficult to do. So now I need to cut them out just perfectly and put them right there. I don't like using stickers because you can't reposition them, but it originally had a sticker, so that's what we're going to use. Well, I will freely admit that this is not my best restoration. I mean, it's okay. It's fine. Matchbox cars is my first time doing one of these old ones. A lot different than a Hot Wheels. I'm not saying it's harder. In some ways it's easier, but it's definitely different skills. And I don't have those yet. So there's things I definitely can improve upon. But anyway, if you remember, this is the before. And now we have the after. And thank you for coming along with this one, even though it didn't go super great. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Goodbye.